New Year Day celebrations in America's New Orleans state, or New Orleans in Louisiana state, ended in a horrific attack when a pickup truck rammed into a crowd on Bourbon Street, killing 10 people and injuring over 35. The attack took place at 3:15 a.m. local time. The suspect, whose identity is still unknown, was killed. Now, according to eyewitnesses, the attacker was wearing full body armor fired from an assault rifle. The mayor of New Orleans had initially stated that the incident was an act of terror. Then the FBI dismissed that statement, but later confirmed that they were treating it as an act of terror and were investigating it.
Good morning. First of all, we do know that the city of New Orleans was impacted by a terrorist attack. It's all still under investigation. You'll hear more after me. However, I have been in direct contact with the White House, with Governor Landry, and of course a unified command who is present here. What I'm asking at this time are prayers for those who have lost their lives in the city of New Orleans due to this tragedy. In addition to that, I'm asking the public to stay clear of 8 blocks around Bourbon Street. Stay clear from Bourbon Street, 8 blocks around.
Louisiana governor described the act as horrific violence. Mourners and survivors are demanding answers as the investigation unfolds. Federal agents are also investigating explosives found at the scene. The police chief says the driver fired at the police and struck 2 police officers after his vehicle crashed.
It did involve a man driving a pickup truck down Bourbon Street at a very fast pace, and it was very intentional behavior. This man was trying to run over as many people as he possibly could. It was not a DUI situation. This is a more complex and more serious based on the information we have right now.
This devastating incident highlights a disturbing trend: the use of vehicles as weapons. Vehicles have increasingly been used in attacks, exploiting their accessibility and deadly potential. In December 2024, 5 people were killed and over 200 others were injured in Magdeburg, Germany, in a similar vehicle ramming attack. These assaults often vary in motive. These assaults often vary in their motive, like I mentioned. Some are carried out by groups like ISIS or Al-Qaeda that prefer low-cost, high-impact attacks. Others stem from mental illness, political extremism, or personal grievances. Similar attacks have been seen in Germany, UK, and France. Far-right extremists, lone wolf attackers, and even those motivated by misogynistic ideologies have turned vehicles into tools of destruction. The simplicity of these attacks makes them hard to predict and prevent, posing a significant challenge to law enforcement worldwide. Susan Teherani is our correspondent. She's now joining us live from New York. Susan, a tragic start to the year for the state of Louisiana. The FBI and the mayor had initially given conflicting statements about the incident being an act of terrorism, and now it has been confirmed that it is being treated and investigated as such. So far, casualties remain at 10, and injuries is over 35, including 2 police officers. Any more update from your end?
Yeah, initially, the reason the FBI was reluctant to say it's an act of terrorism because there's a legal definition for that. I will say, Eric, that it's very rare that the FBI came out immediately afterwards and in such short span of time since the attack and called this an act of terrorism, and they're investigated in that. While we don't know if it's international terrorism or domestic terrorism, there is definitely something there that caused the FBI to see it and treat it as this way and make it public so close to the incident. That means that they know things, and we're going to be learning more about that. Also, the fact that the FBI really, once that press conference was over by the police department in New Orleans, took over this case completely also indicates that this was not an accident. It was very serious, and it appears that officials have more information that has led them to not only bring in FBI resources, but also call it a terrorist attack. It's very important. I also want to let you know that tonight in New Orleans is Sugar Bowl. It's a bowl of college football, American football, between two teams. It's very popular since the 1930s. It's been going on each year. The Sugar Bowl officials said that they're monitoring the situation closely. They're working with law enforcement officials. We'll have to wait and see whether or not it's safe for people to gather there in New Orleans, and also whether or not this was an isolated incident. Was this a lone wolf attack, or is it connected to possible future attacks as well?
Susan, the police did indicate that this is a very complex situation. They actually said that the Sugar Bowl will go on as scheduled. They also said that the event being held at the Sphere will also go on as scheduled. It is not yet clear if some of this injured or some of those dead are tourists, but the police did indicate that they'll give information later in the day. Do we have more information about those who have been injured or those who have been killed in this incident?
Yeah, there might be a lot of tourists. We don't know exactly, but just because, first of all, it's the new year, and what Bourbon Street is to New Orleans is what Times Square is to New York. Of course, a lot more narrow, not as big as Times Square. Nonetheless, the Sugar Bowl being over there tonight as well caused a lot of people to go there. So the hotels there are packed. It's very likely that they could be tourists, but we do know that the two officers that were injured are in stable condition, and we do know that the person that carried out this attack is dead.
All right. Susan Teherani, thank you. And also on the same, we earlier spoke to Dr. Sergei Sumleni, who's a defense expert and director, European Resilience Initiative Center, on similar such incidents in recent times. This is what he told us.
But it is not the first time when a vehicle is being used as a tool for a terrorist attack. We have seen lately this similar event in Germany, in Magdeburg. Before, like 10 years ago, the same event happened in Berlin, also on the Christmas market, when the terrorists used a heavy truck. We have seen similar cases in Nizza, in France, years ago, etc., etc. That's why many Christmas markets in Europe, in Germany in particular, are being guarded by concrete or steel bollards. Not every one of them, unfortunately, as we have seen last week in Magdeburg, but many of them.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.